Freedom is often described as the ultimate human desire. Choice, autonomy, independence. But when people are truly free, many of them feel anxious, disoriented, exposed. Because freedom does not only give options, it removes certainty. Rules do the opposite. They narrow the world. They define boundaries. They tell us what is allowed and what is not. And strangely, that limitation often feels like safety. This video is about why humans seek rules, why structure feels comforting, and why people often submit voluntarily even when no one is forcing them. Not because they are weak, but because uncertainty is frightening. From the earliest moments of life, humans are immersed in structure, schedules, instructions, expectations. We are taught when to sleep, when to eat, when to speak, when to stay silent. Rules are not presented as control. They are presented as care. And in many cases, they are. Rules protect children from danger. They reduce chaos. They create predictability. But something subtle happens over time. The mind begins to associate structure with safety and freedom with risk. Psychologically, uncertainty activates the threat system. When outcomes are unclear, the brain prepares for danger. Heart rate increases, attention narrows, anxiety rises. Rules calm this response. They remove ambiguity. They offer clear paths. They reduce cognitive load. You don't have to decide. You just have to comply. And that relief is powerful. In fact, research shows that humans consistently prefer predictable negative outcomes over uncertain positive ones. Not because the outcome is better, but because it is known. Uncertainty feels like standing in the dark. Rules feel like walls. Even if those walls limit movement, they make the space feel contained. This is where control begins to feel voluntary, not imposed from above, but requested from within. People ask for guidelines, policies, protocols. They want someone else to decide, because deciding means taking responsibility, and responsibility means exposure to error. Freedom requires judgment. Rules replace it. Once rules exist, people begin to follow them even when they no longer make sense. Because breaking rules does not just risk punishment, it risks identity. Most systems do not enforce compliance through violence, they enforce it through belonging. If you follow the rules, you are a good member, a professional, a responsible person. If you don't, you become a problem. This creates internal policing. People don't ask, "Is this right?" They ask, "Is this allowed?" Over time, moral judgment is outsourced, and something else changes. Rules begin to feel neutral. They are seen as technical, procedural, objective, not human decisions, but facts of reality. This is just how things work. Once rules are perceived this way, questioning them feels irrational, even dangerous. Because questioning structure introduces uncertainty again, and uncertainty threatens the psychological comfort the system provides. This is why people often defend restrictive systems, not because the systems are kind, but because they are predictable. Even harmful rules can feel safer than the absence of rules. This is especially true in complex environments. Modern life is overwhelming. Information overload, conflicting demands, endless choices. Systems promise simplicity. Follow the process, complete the form, meet the criteria. You don't need to understand the whole picture, just your part. This fragmentation reduces anxiety, but it also fragments responsibility. When harm occurs, it doesn't feel personal. I followed the rules. I met the requirements. I did what was expected. Freedom would require stopping, thinking, and possibly standing alone. Rules allow people to stay inside the group. There is another layer to this. Rules create moral camouflage. Actions performed within a rule-based system feel less like choices and more like functions. The individual becomes a component, and components are not blamed, they are replaced. This shift is subtle but profound. The more regulated an action is, the less ownership it feels like it belongs to the person performing it. And once ownership fades, conscience fades with it. This is why people can participate in harmful systems without feeling like perpetrators. They experience themselves as operators. The paradox is this: rules are meant to reduce harm, but when rules become unquestionable, they can enable it, not through cruelty, but through obedience. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Many people prefer controlled harm over uncontrolled freedom, because freedom demands courage, it demands uncertainty, it demands the possibility of being wrong, of being isolated. Rules protect against all of that. They offer psychological shelter. But shelter can become confinement. The more people rely on external structure, the weaker their internal compass becomes. Eventually, the absence of rules feels intolerable. Freedom begins to feel like danger. At that point, control no longer needs to be enforced, it is requested. People ask for clearer rules, stricter guidelines, more oversight, not because they love authority, but because they fear ambiguity. And systems understand this. Effective control does not shout, it organizes. It frames obedience as responsibility, compliance as professionalism, submission as stability. The system presents itself as rational, calm, necessary, and compared to the chaos of freedom, it often appears reasonable. This is why control is rarely experienced as oppression in its early stages. It feels like order. The danger is not rules themselves. Society needs structure. The danger is forgetting that rules are human creations. They can be changed, they can be questioned, they can be wrong. When rules replace thinking, freedom disappears quietly, not in a dramatic collapse, but in a slow trade. Certainty for autonomy, safety for judgment, belonging for responsibility. The most important question is not, do rules exist? It is, can you step outside them when necessary? Can you tolerate uncertainty long enough to think for yourself? Because the moment rules feel safer than conscience, control has already succeeded. Not by force, but by comfort. And the most powerful systems are not the ones that imprison bodies. They are the ones that calm the mind while it gives freedom away.